Hello and welcome everyone to Software Engineering Approaches to Human Computer Interaction. I am very excited because HCI is one of those fields that touch everything we do with technology, from your phone apps to cars to even smart fridges. It's all around us. My goal today is to make you curious about how people and computer talk um, and why it matters. That's why design those interactions carefully. A quick question. Have you ever yelled at your laptop or phone or the TV remote before? That's frustration is actually an HCI problem. So here is our roadmap for today. We will start with these basics, what HCI is, why it matters, a little bit of the history, and then explore the famous seven pillars of HCI and some cool examples of interaction. Don't worry, it's not all theory. We will ground each idea in real world examples that you already know. HCI is basically the study of how humans and interact, but not just at a surface level. It's about making that interaction usable, effective, and even enjoyable. Think of it like designing a conversation. If you ask a question and your friend responds in riddles, it sometimes is very frustrating. The same goes for badly designed softwares. For example, compare using Google search to some fuzzy government website, which feels smoother. That's HCI in action. Now, three players in HCI, the human, the computer, and the interaction itself. The human brings philosophy, our memory, attention, habits, etc. The computer brings speed and rules. And interaction is the bridge. So let's try to tell your pet dog to do taxes. Can he do it? It wouldn't work, right? That's why we need an interface to translate between two very different worlds. An interface is like a translator. Humans speak in gesture, words, clicks. Computer speaks in zero and one. The interface helps them to meet in the middle. For example, a touch screen, a keyboard, or even a Siri voice. So a fun thought, what if the only way to talk to your computer was through dance moves? Would TikTok users have an advantage? HCI is a team sport. It's not just computer scientists. It pulls in psychology, design, ergonomics, even social sciences. Think about building a video game. You need programmers. Yes, but also psychologists who understand player motivation, designers who think about visuals, and testers who check the usability. So, can you think of a job where understanding both humans and technology is critical? The official term HCI really took shape in the 1980s with the rise of personal computers and graphical user interface. For example, Apple Macintosh and IBM PCs. Before that, using computers meant punching cards and waiting hours for output. Definitely not user friendly. Once computers entered homes, usability became urgent, and suddenly it wasn't just scientists using them, it was your grandma. So, just a little bit of history. John M. Carroll is often credited as a founder. He emphasized user centered design and task based interaction. But HCI is more of a collective movement than a single person invention. Carroll helped put structure to a field that many were already shaping. A cool fact, Carroll's early research showed that people rarely read manuals, they learn by doing. That insight still happens modern UI design. So, interacting with computers to grasp human computer interaction, it is essential to first understand computers, what goes in and out, and what can it do. So, here are the seven pillars. For example, the things like designing for errors, maximizing visibility, and mapping systems to human mental models. Um, for example, let's say we have a stove and you are standing in front of a stove with four burners and four knobs without any indicators or anything on it, and you have no clue like which knob controls which burner. That's basically a example of poor HCI mapping. A good HCI would definitely avoid those confusion. So I would like to thank you of a product that confused you because of a bad design. Now, these are some very common examples of HCI in our everyday living. It is everywhere from gaming to healthcare. So, why is human computer interaction important? A very short answer is because people matter. If we ignore human needs, even powerful computers become useless. For example, think of a healthcare app. If a patient can't figure out how to log their medication, their app has failed, no matter how smart the backend is or what can it do. HCI makes system efficient, effective, and satisfying. I like to think of it as designing with empathy, putting yourself in the shoes of the user. At the end of the day, HCI is about caring for users. People are not just system operators, they are learners, workers, patients, gamers, etc. For example, there are different design needs, and we can divide the broad categories of computer users in three: the experts, the occasional users, and the novices. You can think that of an app, for example, Photoshop. It is amazing for experts, but it might be overwhelming for the new users, right? But Canva, on the other hand, anyone can use it. So that's the power of HCI. So before, batch processing, punch cards, and long waits. And now you can compare it with the instant activity. For example, you are just sending a request to your printer and it's instantly coming out. So, do you think faster way is always better? Sometimes slowing things down, for example, like safety confirmation is necessary. So, imagine if delete all files happened instantly without no warning, without any warning. So, in next some slides, we will tour unusual interaction methods, alternative keyboards, speech recognition, eye tracking, touch smell, VR, even biosensing. So, I would like to think of the weirdest interaction you have seen or experienced. HCI is not static, it evolves as technology and human needs evolve. So most of us type on the QWERTY keyboard, but did you know it was originally designed to slow down typists so typewriters wouldn't jam? Alternatives like Dvorak keyboard put common letters under strong fingers and even showed improvements in speed and reduced fatigue. But here's the catch. Once the world adopts a standard, it's very hard to switch. This shows that HCI is not only about design, it's also about social adoption. Handwriting feels natural to us. It's very convenient for us, but it is very messy for the computers because of the different handwriting styles, joined up writings, variable pressures, and it's truly a nightmare for to process for the computers. Speech is one of the most natural ways humans communicate. That's why Siri, Alexa, Google Assistants are booming. But challenges remain background noise, accents, large vocabularies. Still, speech systems are getting better and better every day. Eye tracking lets us control computers with just our gaze. It has huge potential for accessibility. Um, right now, it's mostly used for research and gaming, but cheaper devices are emerging. So could you see yourself using eye tracking instead of a mouse? So these are displays that make sense in a specific place. For example, a display outside an office door showing whether the person is available, or smart bus stops that show when the next bus is arriving. So, the key lesson is that context matter. The meaning of the display is tied to where it lives. So, Harness was a project with small digital displays outside offices where people could leave digital sticky notes. It seems simple, but it showed how technology can blend into everyday environment. Can you think of some modern equivalents? I think some good examples might be our Slack status, Google Calendar activity that we can share when we are free, when we are not, smart home displays, etc. Can you think of any? Sound is also a very powerful interface. Think of the beep when you get a message or the startup chime of a Mac. Audio cues can be faster than visuals, especially when multitasking. I would like to think of technology um, that like impact the sound and that you instantly recognize. For example, the Windows error sound, the iPhone ringtone, etc. Touch feedback or haptics is essential in gaming and simulation. Think of the vibration in a controller or a surgeon using a simulator. We are even experimenting with smell and tastes in VR, though it's very limited. Imagine a Zoom meeting with smell. Would you want that? Now we go beyond the obvious. Technology can sense you, your heartbeat, your emotions, even your stress level. Fitness trackers, VR headsets, even experimental emotion aware AI rely on this. Is this exciting or creepy? Where should we draw the line? So, finite processing speed, designers tend to assume fast processors and make interfaces more and more complicated, but problems occur because processing cannot keep up with all the tasks it need to do. Also, problems if system is too fast. So, Moore's law observed that processing power doubles every 8 months. That's why your phone today is more powerful than a 1990s supercomputer. But this pace is slowing down. And do you think we always need faster computers, or is smarter designs are more important? The myth of the infinitely fast machines. Even if computers keep getting faster, humans don't. The bottleneck is often our brains, eyes, and fingers. Faster doesn't always equal better. Sometimes too much speed overwhelms the user. For example, if Google gave search results before you even finish typing, would that help or confuse you? Even with faster computers, interaction is limited by things like network delays, human reaction time, and physical constraints. Designers must consider these bottlenecks like buffering on Netflix or lag in video games. What's the most frustrating lag you have experienced? You think about that, and in that time, this is all about this lecture. And to wrap up, HCI is about humans first, computers second. If we design with empathy, creativity, and understanding, we make technology not just functional but very delightful. And always remember, if you have been frustrated or delighted by a software, you have experienced HCI in action. And in the next lectures of this course, you will learn how to design interactions that people might actually love.